Right, so these are then the key words to learn in the Key Stage 3 forces topic. The force on an object moving through the air, okay, that causes it to slow down, also called drag. It's got to be air resistance. Put your arm out the window when you're driving down the motorway. Acting on an object that are the same size but act in opposite directions. Okay, so it's forces, balanced forces. So both forces are then going in the opposite direction. Okay, and they're balanced. They're opposites to each other and the same size. To squash into a smaller space, compress. A force that acts when another object is in contact. Okay, that helps a little bit. Okay, with a surface, air or water, contact force. To change the shape, that's your spring, deform. The force acting on an object moving through air or water that causes it to slow down. Talked about it before, drag force. The force that is pushing or pulling something, that is then the driving force. The point beyond which a spring will not return to its original length when the force is removed. That's its elastic limit. So you know when you pull a spring and it never goes back to the original shape? Elastic limit. The force acting between two charged objects, electrostatic. Something that's balanced is in equilibrium. The amount by which an object gets longer when a force is applied, a spring is then kind of getting stretched, it's an extension. A region where something feels a force is the field. So like you have a magnetic field, right? That magnetic field, what that does, it kind of is an area where you can actually feel the force happening. The force that resists movement because of contact between two surfaces, friction. Rub your hands together, right? There's a resistance and that is friction. A non-contact force that acts between two masses, okay? Me and Earth, gravity. The law that says if you double the force on an object, the extension will double. Hooke's law. That's okay, you ought to do these springs again. When two objects interact, there is a force on each one. That is the same size in opposite directions. They are interaction pairs because it's got two forces that are interacting with each other. The unit of mass and symbol kg, okay, that gives it a bit of an idea. Kilogram. A substance that reduces friction between surfaces when they rub together. Okay, so that is things like if you had oil on your hands, soap on your hands, or you had ice on the floor. It's a bit like lubrication. Magnetic force, the force between two magnets or a magnet and a magnetic material. Okay, is the magnetic force, I just said it. The amount of matter, stuff a thing is made up of, so the amount of particles that something is made up of is its mass. The unit of force, N, newtons. A piece of equipment used to measure the weight in newtons. Okay, there's a big clue there, newtons, right? And we know that's a force, and that is called a Newton meter. A magnetic, electrostatic or gravitational force that acts between objects not in contact, non-contact forces. But you've got to remember that electrostatic, magnetic, gravitational don't touch each other. A type of force, pull. A type of force, push. Okay, I could have put down forces or types of force, push and pull, they're the only ones. The support force provided by a solid surface like a floor is the reaction. So that's then when you're kind of stood there, right, there's me, right, and that's the reaction. Streamlined, shaped to reduce the resistance to motion from air or water. Okay, so my Ferrari is very streamlined. A stretching force, so when you're on the tug of war, tension. Opposing forces on an object that are unequal are unbalanced, and what that does, that usually creates movement. The force on an object moving through water that causes it to slow down, also called drag. We've talked about this before, air resistance, you've also got water resistance. The force on Earth on an object due to its mass. Force and mass makes weight. Now what I've just done is there's 3 pages of words there, so there's a fair few. Now what you need to do is you need to test yourself, right? Write down the words that should be in the blanks. Right, so now what you should have done is, I can't remember how many there were, right, it's a fair few, probably about 30 odd. Right, now what you need to do is you need to then do them again and make sure that you can answer every single one again. Right, now well done. Now if you got them all right, I think I've worked out there's 31 then, right, then if you did get some wrong, you need to go back and you need to do them. But like I've said previously, they are the questions that you need to write in your exam, not words that you've got in your head, they're the key words.